Welcome to Behind the Fence with Blake Thomas. Presented by Vinyl Fence Warehouse, the podcast where we talk to fence contractors about their journey in the fencing industry. So latch the gate and get ready, because we're about to dive deep into the world of fencing.
Hey everybody, Blake at Vinyl Fence Warehouse here for another episode of the Behind the Fence podcast. Today we have Brian Harris from US Hammer with us. Brian's company is out of California and he specializes in post drivers and jackhammers for trade industries. Brian, how's it going today, man?
Going great. It's going great. Another beautiful day out here in California.
Heck yeah. You guys are pretty busy this time of year, right?
Oh, we are. We're very busy.
Good. Are you staying mostly post pounders, or are you doing, a lot of jackhammers too, or is
No, we do equal amount of both jackhammers and post drivers. This year, I believe the battle of post drivers really taken off on this part of the year. We're kind of struggling to keep up with the orders.
Man, being busy is definitely a good problem to have.
Oh yeah, we're not complaining. We're not
Heck
complaining.
yeah.
We're trying to put in a new line now to combat that so we can stay up with everything in the demand.
Now, Brian, kind of give us a rundown, how you got your start, man. I mean, what made you get into manufacturing jackhammers and post drivers?
So we started about 7 years ago. One of the guys that worked for another company that was previously owned he had a great idea, build a gas-powered jackhammer and gas-powered post driver. First we did the jackhammers, and then a guy in Reno called us and said he's got some hard soil and he can't find a gas-powered post driver to drive his T-post in his ranch. And so we kind of tackled that, and that's how the post driver was born. We didn't really push the post driver until about 3 years ago, until I actually stepped back into US to actually produce the sales.
You really kind of dove into the defense industry, really, is what I've kind of gathered.
Yep.
I mean, I've seen you at a lot of the same industry events. You attend Fence Tech as an exhibitor, the Fence Show. We were up there at the Fence Installation School together, pounding some posts, and graciously came to our event. So, what has made you really get involved more in the fence industry?
I just like the connection. The fencing industry is a lot different from like the concrete industry, where one company is against another company. They're not really for each other. It's more of a cutthroat. The fence industry is great. I really wanted to push the post driver. I just dove right in and figured, what the heck? Let's see what it's about.
Man, I kind of come across that a lot, talking with a lot of other manufacturers, other guys over here, guys such as Evan Gardner, Dan Wheeler, and a bunch of others, a lot
Great
of them.
people. Yeah.
Absolutely. But, the fence industry really kind of seems to be a much different breed of community. Companies are willing to help each other. I've heard of guys going and subbing their own crews out, for other companies that have large jobs. And you really don't see that a whole lot in many other industries. Everything else is really kind of, more secluded, and everybody's to themselves, and a lot more competition, it seems like.
It is like that for a lot of industries. I cover quite a few different industries in my job title. So yeah, the fence industry is great. The people come together and help out each other. That's awesome. That's what we need in this time of day.
Oh, absolutely, man. If you can, get together at the end of the day and have a beer or have a cocktail, it's even better, man.
Yeah.
Brian, what are some of your other manufacturing capabilities there? Obviously you guys, you manufacture these, but you actually extrude or make some of these parts in-house, correct?
We make all the parts in-house for all of US Hammer. We do everything from the extrusion part to another company that I own. We do the actual injection molding for most of the plastics that are on the US Hammer. So we have everything in-house. All the machining's done in-house, all the plastics done in-house.
You mentioned injection molding for some of the plastics. Now you do other parts for the fence industry, correct? I mean, we've brought in some of your donuts and they work great. So you have some plastic injection molding that you take care of all that stuff with.
Yeah, we have several styles. I have several styles of donuts that are out there for vinyl fencing. Kind of whatever the flavor is, we can do it.
If you have the post driver for it, man, you might as well have the donuts too.
You might as well. I took that on probably like 2 years ago from one of the small fence guys saying he was having a hard time getting them without buying a pallet. That's kind of where I was like, well, I mean, that's not that big a deal. And so most of them are coming out of Canada.
So, yeah, man, and the fact that you are U.S. based, I love it. Any products that we can have made here in America, I'm all about. Again, we've used some of your donuts; they're performing great. Now, what can you tell us that would make your US Hammer drivers, different than some of the other drivers that are out there?
So we're different. We're not a vibratory style. We're more of a dead blow style. Came out. We wanted to make one of the hardest hitting for the harder ground. The people that said they can't drive posts. In that, we've learned manufacturing is something that you constantly learn. As a company, one of our mottos is we're constantly innovating. We listen to every one of our customers. I handle pretty much most of all the customer interaction, so I can stay ahead of the curve, see what's going on, make changes as we're constantly innovating, we're constantly changing. If we can prove it, somebody has an idea, we'll tackle it right away.
Real nice, man. So now, obviously, you service the entire U.S., but you've also told me that you ship, container loads of these products, all over the world. Why don't you
Yes,
tell
we
us
do.
some of the places that you sent some to?
We send them to Dubai. We have a couple customers in Australia. So we're all over. We're worldwide. It's starting to grow that way. Dubai is one of these customers.
Nice, nice. Man, honestly, one of the things that attracted me to US Hammer, and obviously seeing you at all the same events that I'm at, I can appreciate, that you're heavily involved. You're obviously, like you said,
Yes,
you're listening to the customer, the fencer and the installer, and really getting true feedback from the guys that are using these products. The fact that you handle a lot of this stuff yourself still, talking owner to owner, that's something that I can absolutely appreciate. Your customer service has been great with us thus far, man. You're, definitely top notch in that department. Also your shipping capabilities. You guys are able to overnight things just about anywhere and help anybody that's got a down machine, correct?
that is correct. I like to say when you buy a US Hammer, you're not just buying a product, you're getting a team member. We care if the fencer can't get that job done, and we'll do whatever we can take to make sure that that guy gets the job done. Because we're not about eating you in pockets on a piece of product. We're about you making more money and buying more products.
Oh yeah, yeah. You want somebody to be able to grow and expand and buy more hammers for sure. And every hammer that
Exactly.
you've got in stock, that's in your arsenal of tools, man. That's just more money you're going to be making.
That
So
is. No, the one thing that we stand for is the people got to make money. When you're in business, that's a big thing, especially the service industry, like building a fence, because technically that's what it is. And that's a hard industry. You don't know the ground conditions of customers, and you guys got to get your job done. As a tool manufacturer, we understand tools. They have function that we would love to say. We build a tank, but even tanks can be blown up. So,
yeah, man.
you
Well,
know,
we've had a little damage to ours, and it was probably on our end. And I'll just testify to your great customer service. We had a little bit of an issue with the motor. You overnighted us one. I think it might maybe 2 days or something like that. There was very little downtime. We're actually looking at buying another one just so that in case anything ever happens to it, we could have one shipped off to you and have one, a spare and a backup. Now,
yeah.
you also offer all the accessories, right? You custom mill all of your own adapters.
Yeah, that is correct. I'd like to say we're one of the first companies that started doing the drive caps for the different style posts. We do a square. We have an external for a 2.5, 2 3/8. We've done drive caps for several fence manufacturing companies out there, and we'll tackle whatever we did. We just did an external drive cap for a guy that has to drive 4x4 posts to build a deck in the middle of a lake. We're kind of skeptical because that's getting big in the footprint for driving a 4x4. That's pretty hard. But
Oh yeah.
he was doing it through water. So he's 77 posts into it. He's got another 104 posts in it, and he's doing it off a boat. So we were glad to help.
Man, that's a crazy project there.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of insane when he called because he's like, I have machinery, but I can't get it out there. So I'm going to have to drive these posts off a boat. I was like, well, I mean, we can try it. We'll build you one. So we built him an external drive gap and said, you can give it your all. And he called me back and said, we're driving them down. So that was a good, that's accomplishment to us.
I was about to say, is that maybe, the peak of size that you've been able to tackle with just a gas powered driver?
Yeah, we've tackled quite a bit, big ones. We've done some 4-inch steel ones, which tell people, man, that's getting really big for a handheld gas one. I mean,
You got to have a lot of weight going down with that one too.
You do. The hydraulic ones, they weigh in at 65. Your gas powered one weighs in about 45. I mean, that's a big difference. Big difference.
Now, one of the things that I personally like about the US Hammer and what I feel is a big differentiator is your twist throttle.
Yeah.
It's the only one on the market that has that. Can you maybe kind of tell us maybe some of the benefit of that over a trigger or a pull handle?
So we went with the twist throttle. It was easy because we didn't want to keep having to add a second throttle cable for extension handles. Plus, we wanted the extension handles to come on and off easily. So with the twist handle, you're just able to clevis pin it on and now just twist that handle. A lot of people say it gives fatigue. It's kind of all in the operator hand. If you walk up, you twist it, yeah, your hand is twisted. But if you twist your hand and then have the throttle and twist it, now your hand's straight. It's kind
So,
of finesse. But we didn't want to have to keep pushing people to buy more and more things. And that gives us the ability to do 3 foot, 2 foot, 4 foot extension handles at a cheaper cost.
so that's a little bit of the trick to the hammer is to twist and walk up, not walk up and twist.
Yeah, that's it. Twist and then walk up, not walk up and then twist, because yeah, your hand's out of position. It's gonna fatigue. It's kind of like a finesse. A lot of people that ride motorcycles get it, but not everyone.
Well, man, we like it so far. Our installer loves it. It definitely says that it hits a lot harder than anything else he's had. Now, we've talked a little bit about events. You were amazing up there at the Fence Installation School in Tulsa with me. You helped me drive one of our first prototypes for the Goliath no dig spike, which that's really helped us. Being able to put my hands on one, somebody that's right there that I can demo their stuff. It was amazing. It was a no-brainer for me to go with it at that point. So, like I said, you're involved heavily in a lot of the fence industry. How many events have you been to this year already?
I would say probably about 20 different events just this year alone. And then my next year stacking up about the same.
I was about to say, what does the rest of the year look like for you and getting into 2026?
Well, the rest of my year is pretty much gonna stick around. I got one more event to go to before the end of the year, and then I'm kind of wrapping it up. We got a great product that we're hoping to launch at the first Fence Tech next year.
That would have been my next
That's
question is, hey, what do we got coming down
Yeah.
the pipeline with US Hammer? Let's hear this.
Yeah, so we've really been working on it. We've had it in development now for probably about a little bit over a year, and it's in testing. We're about a year solid in the testing to make sure the durability's there. But this one's gonna change it. I don't want to give it all away yet, but it's gonna make a difference in the gas powered one and the battery operated one. As we believe the battery operated 110 ones are going to be a bigger part of it because of the gas powered issues that people have.
Yeah, whenever you brought your battery powered one down here, you gave us some of the features of it. It's a little bit lighter, correct? Whenever, as far as the hammering
Yes.
portion on top.
Yes. It weighs in at 35 pounds, which some people say that's an issue, but on ours, you can we're not like the Rhino, the Titan, and the Ski Drill, which are all great quality drivers. I'm not down in any of them, but you can put too much weight on those and it'll bog them down. On ours, you can put as much weight as you can get on that little thing, and it just makes it drive better.
Hmm.
That's why the hydraulic and the air ones work better because they're in the weight of 55, 65 pounds.
Very
That
nice,
makes
very
a big
nice.
difference when you're driving post.
So, as a business owner in manufacturing, you've got a big machine shop that you run, extrusions, plastic injections. You've seen your share of ups and downs. What advice would you give to a fresh fence company with your knowledge of those in the fencing industry? Because you know a lot of people, all the guys all the way up at the top, Tony
Yeah.
Thornton, all the guys at the AFA, and guys that are just starting out needing some advice. I mean, what would you give those types of guys?
If you're just now starting out, take care of the people that take care of you. Don't forget about the guys that are there when you start. No matter how big you get, those guys are very important. And always take care of your team first. That would probably be the best advice I got for any business.
Man, it's very solid, very solid. Brian, man, thank you
That's
so much for
it.
your time. We'll let you guys get back to work up there. Man, we look forward to, using our US Hammer on more jobs. We're doing more and more no dig all the time. Our installers definitely love it. The customers love it just as much as if it were a dig and set product. But obviously, there's no mess. What would be the next step for Brian this year? What's he got going on next, so we can find you and
Just
track you
innovation,
down?
man. Yeah, just anytime you need me, I'm here to answer the phones, and I'm looking forward to next year. It's going to be a monumental year.
Awesome, man. Well, how can our listeners get a hold of you to get one of your hammers in their hands?
Man, you call any number on the U.S. Hammer hotline, it'll go straight to my cell phone. My cell phone number is also 530-657-4749. More than welcome to call me direct, text me. I'm very easy to get hold of.
Okay, you hear that, ladies? Brian just gave out his number, so sexiest guy in fencing just gave it to you. Brian, man, again, I appreciate it. I appreciate your service. I appreciate everything that you've provided for the fence industry, the innovation, the tools, the donuts, everything, man. We've got some things, with you that we'll be working on as well. So really looking forward to getting into that with you guys.
All right, brother. Thanks for having me.
Sure thing, man. We'll holler at you later.